All right, no sugarcoating this one, folks. The European boat market is bleeding. What was once a red-hot seller's paradise has turned ice-cold almost overnight. Prices are dropping faster than a Genoa in a squall, and some boats that would have sold in a day 2 years ago are now collecting spiderwebs in the listings. Brokers are sweating, marinas are seeing boats sit longer than ever, and desperate sellers are slashing prices like it's Black Friday on the water. This isn't just a cooling trend, it's a full-on market correction, maybe even the early stages of a crash. What's driving it? Who's getting hit the hardest? And if you've been dreaming about finally buying a boat, is this your chance to strike gold or get stuck with a floating money pit? Let's dive into the 5 big questions that could save you thousands or leave you kicking yourself for years. The European boat market didn't collapse overnight, but if you've been paying attention, the signs have been there for a while, and now they're impossible to ignore. Boat prices across the continent are sinking, and for once it's not just a seasonal dip or a temporary correction. We're in the middle of a real shift, and it's hitting hard. At the heart of it all, a brutal mismatch between supply and demand. There are simply too many boats for sale right now, especially in the used market. Brokers across France, Spain, Germany, and beyond are reporting inventory levels they haven't seen in years. Boats are piling up on the listings with fewer serious buyers showing interest. Why? Let's start with the money. Everything's more expensive across Europe these days. Inflation has pushed up the cost of living, and interest rates have made it more expensive to borrow. Taking out a loan to buy a boat, once manageable, now feels like a luxury only the wealthy can afford. And even those with cash are hesitating. People are nervous. The euro's wobbly, economies are slowing down, and there's a general sense of wait and see spreading through the boating crowd. On top of that, running costs have gone through the roof. Marina fees, haul-outs, repairs, insurance, all of it's costing more. For a lot of folks, keeping a boat in the water just isn't as financially sustainable as it used to be. That's pushed many owners to sell, hoping to get out before prices drop further, and just like that, the market is flooded. But it's not just the economy or high ownership costs. There's also a growing awareness that some boats, especially mass-produced monohulls, older charter yachts, and big cruising cats, aren't holding value like they used to. Buyers are becoming more cautious, more educated, and a lot less willing to pay inflated prices for boats that need work or come with hidden costs. The result? Boats are sitting longer. Sellers are dropping prices just to get bites, and every price cut pushes the next one lower. It's a chain reaction, and it's gathering speed. This isn't just a dip, it's the start of a serious market correction, one where only the best boats at the right price are moving, and everyone else is left waiting or cutting their losses. Let's not beat around the bush. If you're trying to sell a mid-size production monohull right now in Europe, you're in rough water. These boats, especially those built between 2005 and 2015, are taking the brunt of the price collapse. Why? Because there are so many of them, and the market's had its fill. Yachts in the 40 to 50-foot range that were once the go-to for cruising couples or live-aboard hopefuls are now clogging the listings. Many of them are under-maintained, over-equipped with outdated gear, or stuck in locations that are tricky to reach for potential buyers. And when 5 similar models are all priced within 10 grand of each other, it becomes a race to the bottom. Ex-charter boats are another segment in Freefall. These boats, typically high-use, cosmetically tired, and often under constant pressure during their working lives, are flooding out of the Med right now. You'll see them on the market in France, Greece, Croatia, even the Canary Islands. Their appeal used to be the price, but in a buyer's market, that edge disappears fast. Unless they're spotless, recently refitted, and priced aggressively, they're not moving. Then, we've got catamarans, specifically the bigger, heavier cruising cats that require wide berths and deep pockets. The demand for small, manageable cats is still there, especially for newer, lighter models with decent layouts. But the big, charter-style cats, especially those over 45 feet, the bloom's off the rose. Buyers are waking up to what it really costs to maintain one, and the pool of potential takers is shrinking fast. Project boats are also feeling the pressure. A few years ago, folks were dreaming about rebuilding old cruisers into round-the-world warriors. But with rising material costs, tight marina space, and limited time, those dreams are losing their shine. You'll see these boats listed cheap, sometimes shockingly so, but even then, the interest just isn't what it used to be. So, what's holding its value? Surprisingly, well-maintained older cruisers, boats with a reputation for seaworthiness, solid construction, and a good maintenance history, are doing better than expected. Think classic blue water boats, full keel hulls, or rugged passage makers with real offshore miles behind them. And newer boats from premium builders, less than 5 years old, are still commanding strong prices, though even those are starting to see negotiation room. Bottom line, the middle of the market is the weakest. Boats that are neither cheap enough to be considered a bargain nor special enough to justify a premium are getting hammered. It's not just about condition anymore. It's about standing out in a crowded field. If a boat doesn't shine, it's sinking fast. If you've been dreaming of owning a boat but waiting for the right moment, well, friend, this might be it. The European sailboat market has tilted hard in favor of buyers. With listings stacking up and sellers getting anxious, you've got leverage now that simply didn't exist a couple of years ago. But to turn this market shift into real value, you need to move smart. First rule, cast a wide net. Don't just look in your backyard. There are sharp deals popping up in places like Greece, Croatia, southern Spain, and even the Netherlands. Some boats in those markets are sitting with very motivated sellers, and a bit of travel could save you tens of thousands of euros. Second, do your homework. Prices might be dropping, but not every listing is a bargain. Some sellers haven't caught up with reality yet. Look for comparable boats that have actually sold recently, not just what's listed. And watch for boats that have been on the market for over 6 months. Those are the ones where a serious offer might actually work. Third, inspect everything. In a market like this, a good deal can become a money pit fast if you don't catch hidden problems. Get a full survey, ask for maintenance records. If the owner can't show a clear service history or tries to brush off issues, that's a red flag. Walk away. There are plenty of fish in the sea right now. Next tip, negotiate hard, but fair. Sellers know the score. If you've got cash or can close quickly, you've got a strong hand. Don't be afraid to offer well below asking, especially if the boat needs work or has been sitting a while. Worst they can say is no. Best case, you walk away with a serious steal. Finally, watch the timing. Late autumn into winter is traditionally slow for boat sales in Europe. That's when sellers are most eager, marinas want boats moved, and you've got the best chance to strike a deal. Just make sure the boat's location allows for haul-out or transfer before the weather turns. Bottom line, this isn't the time to hesitate. If you're prepared, patient, and a little bold, the buyer's market could deliver you the boat of your dreams at a price that would have been unthinkable just a couple years ago. Now, we're into the €1,000,000 question. Everyone watching the European market is asking the same thing. Is this the bottom, or are we just halfway down the slope? And to be honest, the answer isn't simple. But let's break down what we know. First, the market fundamentals still point downward in the short term. Inventory is high, buyer interest is patchy, economic uncertainty is sticking around, high inflation, shaky consumer confidence, and unpredictable politics are all keeping people cautious. Until that stabilizes, don't expect a rush of new buyers to come charging in. Second, new boat prices are still sky high. That's putting a bit of a floor under the used market, because when a new 40-footer costs 600 grand, a used one at 300 still looks like a deal. But as more people try to offload boats, especially those that were overfinanced or underused, we're likely to see more aggressive pricing. So, will prices keep falling? Most likely yes, at least into next year. Not in a dramatic crash, but in a steady, creeping decline, especially in oversupplied segments like mid-size production monohulls, charter boats, and older catamarans, where listings are outpacing sales 3 or 4 to 1. The exception might be premium blue water cruisers, rare models, or turnkey liveaboards in excellent condition. Those could hold their value better simply because they're in shorter supply and still in demand among serious sailors. As for a bounce, eventually, sure, markets don't fall forever, but the rebound will likely be slow and not a return to the frenzied highs we saw in recent years. Instead, we'll probably see a stabilized, more rational market, one where prices reflect real value and only the best boats fetch top dollar. So, if you're a buyer, watch closely, act smart, and be patient. If you're a seller, price realistically, prep your boat properly, and understand that the longer you wait, the more leverage shifts to the buyer. The tide is still going out, and it may not turn for a while yet. If you really want to understand what's happening in the European boat market, forget the polished reports and sales graphs. Talk to the people who are knee-deep in it every day. Brokers, boatyard managers, and seasoned owners are seeing the shift firsthand, and what they're saying paints a picture that's both revealing and a bit sobering. Let's start with the brokers. These are folks who make their living by connecting buyers and sellers, and most of them will tell you the same thing. It's gotten harder to sell a boat. Not impossible, but definitely harder. One broker I spoke to in southern France told me straight, 6 months ago, I could list a well-kept 40-footer and have serious offers in a week. Now, I'm lucky to get a viewing in a month. It's not that buyers aren't out there. It's that they're being cautious, slow, and very picky. A broker out of Palma said they're seeing a clear divide. Clean, well-equipped boats that are priced right are still moving, but only if they're really turnkey. Boats that need even moderate work, sitting. And the longer they sit, the more price cuts they take. Every reduction brings more attention, he said, but it also tells the market the seller's under pressure. Owners, especially the ones trying to sell, are learning fast that this isn't the market of a few years ago. One retired German couple told me they were shocked at how few calls they got after listing their boat. "We put it up for what similar boats were listed at 6 months ago," they said. "Not a single offer. Then our broker showed us 3 others just like it that had dropped 20,000 euros and still hadn't sold." In Greece, another owner put it bluntly, people aren't dream buying anymore. They're spreadsheet shopping. Buyers are asking about haul-out records, rigging age, battery banks, and insurance quotes. They want clean histories, clear documentation, and no surprises. That means a dirty engine bay, stained cushions, or a tired sale inventory can kill a deal before it starts, even if the price seems fair. There's also a new type of buyer showing up: savvy, slow-moving, and very aware of their leverage. Brokers are saying that even once an offer is accepted, deals are taking longer to close. Buyers are adding more conditions, pushing for bigger concessions after surveys, or walking away entirely if they sense hesitation. And perhaps the biggest lesson: emotion no longer drives the sale. Value does. This market isn't about falling in love with a boat. It's about ticking boxes, comparing spreadsheets, and running the numbers. A lovely teak interior or a salty hull shape won't mask deferred maintenance or outdated systems anymore. So, what's the takeaway from the docks? Simple. If you're selling, get real. Prep your boat like it's a job interview. Price it aggressively. Be transparent. And don't expect miracles. If you're buying, now's your moment. But you've still got to know what you're doing. The market might be in free fall, but the smart money always finds solid ground. So there it is, plain and unvarnished. The European boat market is taking on water. Prices are falling, listings are climbing, and the tide has turned hard in favor of buyers. For some, that's a tough pill to swallow. For others, it's the chance they've been waiting for. If you're out there trying to sell, I won't sugarcoat it, you're in a fight. A crowded market means you've got to stand out, not just in looks, but in value, in maintenance, in transparency. The days of pricing high and waiting for a dreamer to show up, those are over. You've got to be sharp, fast, and realistic. But if you're a buyer, this is your moment. You've got leverage, options, and time. Be smart, be thorough, and don't rush into a bad deal, because there are a lot of good ones just starting to surface. Cast a wide net, do your homework, and don't be afraid to negotiate hard. The sellers know which way the wind is blowing. What's coming next? Well, no one knows for sure. Maybe the market steadies in a year or two, maybe we haven't seen the bottom yet. But one thing's certain, we're sailing in a different direction now. So keep your charts updated, your eyes open, and your hand on the tiller. Whether you're buying, selling, or just watching from the shoreline, this is a story worth following. And hey, if you find that dream boat sitting unloved at a dock somewhere in Spain or Greece with a price tag that makes you do a double take, give it a second look. The right boat at the right time can still change your life. Fair winds, folks. Catch you in the next one.